Hi, this is Suchadatta, your SST teacher, teaching you the chapter of History, Class 10, Work, Life and Leisure, Cities in Contemporary World. Now children, this story in Class 10th History textbook starts from how the world started becoming interconnected with each other. And this global economy leads to industrialization. Industrialization further leads to urbanization. Urbanization means when people have started moving towards the cities and the towns from the villages in search of work, in search of better facilities and in search of better education. This is because of industrialization, and when people reach the cities, since all of them have come from different villages, they form a different society here, a different world where everybody tries to adjust with each other and they see a world which is different from their village life. Now this urbanization in fact that we are going to talk about has many aspects, positive and negative, and we shall see about it in the chapter in detail. But before we start with the chapter, let us understand the meaning of the new terms and concepts which we are going to use again and again in the chapter. Now here the first word is metropolis. And how do you know this word? You always say metro city. So that's metropolis. The chief city of a country is actually a metropolis. Now if I say 4 metro cities of India, you will immediately be able to answer them. So what is a metropolis? A chief city which has all the modern amenities and is highly industrialized and developed. Next is urbanization. Urbanization, as I said just now, is a process wherein the development of cities and towns take place. That is, a small village turns into a town and a town turns into a flourishing city. That is urbanization. That is, people are moving towards a city life, a developed life, a life different from a village. Next is Brahma. Brahma is a Hindu god and he is supposed to be a creator in the Hindu mythology. We have 3 main gods, that is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the preserver and Shiva is the destroyer. Next is tenement. Tenements are the dwellings of the poor people in the city. They are generally a room close to each other and many people are staying in the same building. The rooms are close to each other and many families stay in a same building is a tenement. This is a common feature in the cities wherein the space is less and the rent that the people have to pay is very high. That is why the poor people prefer to live in these kinds of building. Next is philanthropist. Philanthropists are actually those people due to which this world is a safe place to live. They are the persons who are concerned about the welfare of mankind. Whenever there is some problem, whenever something goes wrong, these are the people who give it a thought, who work, experiment and awaken the people against the wrongs, the injustice and whatever is required, and that is the work of a philanthropist. Next is suburb. Suburb is in fact the outlying area of the city. Now, how did the suburbs develop? It so happened that when many people from the villages started moving towards cities, the cities became overcrowded. There was no place for the population to reside. Those who had come from outside, there was problem of sanitation and other such problems. That means people had to move little further away from the city to make another city for themselves, and this outlying area of the city is called as suburb. Next is the green belt. Now, when the planning of the cities was done in the modern era, that is the time that the cities had certain areas which are called as the green belt. This is in fact an open land in the city which is meant for natural habitation. That is, it is meant for planting trees and such things by which the city appears green. So, a place for natural habitation, greenery all around is the green belt. I continue with the rest of the terms in the next clipping. In this process of urbanization that we shall be talking about in the chapter, we will be seeing two major cities of the world, that is London and Bombay. London, because it was the first industrialized city in the world, and Bombay, of course, because it is the commercial capital of India. Now, the next term which you must know is presidency cities. Presidency cities were the three major cities during the British rule, from where actually all the administration was being carried out. It was Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. They can be better called as administrative towns. Next is depressed class. The depressed class is the untouchable or the Dalits, who are supposed to be downtrodden and who have been oppressed by the higher sections of the society, and they feel that they had been exploited and have not been given rights equivalent to other people in the society. Next is reclamation. Reclamation is required when the population of the city increases and there is a need of extra land for various activities and the land of the city has exhausted. Then what do? Then you bring the waste land under cultivation. You actually bring the marshy land from the sea water into use. So, those places which have been lying vacant for various reasons and which were considered as unfit for cultivation or for making buildings, now are being reconverted into lands fit for some human use. That is reclamation. Next is chawls. Chawls is in fact a Hindi word, or rather if I can say a Mumbai word for the tenements. It is a multi-storied structure wherein there are small rooms and in each room one family resides, that is 8 to 10 people could be living in a small little room, and these chawls do not have a private toilet. There are some common toilets for the entire building, and we see a lot of chaos and confusion in these chawls, and the life seems very, very difficult here. Next is individualism. As the word suggests, individualism is principle. So, when the theory, that is the social theory, lays stress on the freedom of individual, on the honor and dignity of an individual, when the individual becomes more important than the society, then he is supposed to be given every right, that is individualism. And this individualism became very, very important when urbanization started in various parts of the world. We will see how in the chapter itself, and now in the next clipping I will start with the chapter.